What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division PTS video. Today, this is the video I've probably been the most excited to do, apart from being able to test the Heartbreaker gear set, but we won't talk about that. But today we're going to talk about Flatline. But before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, or hit that bell so you're notified when I upload more Division videos. Or even better, come on over to Twitch. Twitch.tv/DJTICKLE. Hit that follow button. I could be streaming the PTS live right now. So today we're going to have a look at Flatline. We're not going to have a look at Perfect Flatline. I already did the math on that. I'll link the video down below. Check out my previous videos on that. It just isn't very good on the KINGBREAKER. The Carbine and the FAMAS certainly do beat it out with regular Flatline that you can see on my secondary gun here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take what I use just kind of regularly in the game, and we're going to apply the Flatline talent. Now, as you can see here, I've got two Carbine 7s, very, very lucky. This is the one that I usually use right now as of TU14. Damage to target out of cover and strained. Really, really nice. Definitely top tier. But you can see I've got exactly the same gun, damage to target out of cover. They're modded exactly the same, so we hit like 59% crit chance, 173% crit damage, and 90% headshot damage. This is a spotter build that I'm using right here, sometimes for more timed content, if I want to get through something really, really quickly. But we'll compare it with glass cannon as well, because there is a few changes and a few things that we are reliant on. So we'll go over all the different scenarios. But as you can see here, Flatline amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. After 3 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy you hit. Well, we're not bothered about that. We want pulse up 100% all of the time, because we want this juicy amplified 15% extra damage. And that's what counts. And if we're going to compare that to strained, which I believe is the best talent to have on a Carbine 7. I know everybody has their own personal preferences, but I feel like this is where I get the most damage. Again, 10% critical hit damage for every 0.5 seconds you are firing, stacked up to 5 times. So I'm not reliant on having to hit anything or anything like that. As long as I'm firing the gun, you'll see that critical hit damage keep on creeping up. So all the stats are exactly the same. You can see obviously they're exactly the same gun, 108k damage, 790 RPM and 50 in the mag. But for this, obviously what you can see mod-wise, we've gone with the linked laser pointer, which means when we look at an enemy, it automatically pulses it, which is going to give us that juicy damage all the time. And that's why I've gone with spotter, because otherwise with this strained gun, it would be an unfair comparison. But what we will do is we'll compare the spotter build with the glass cannon build and just kind of see where the numbers really, really play out, and if is Flatline really, really that good? And I think it might be, but we'll see. So first of all, we've got a invulnerable enemy in front of us, so damage to armor or anything is not going to play into account here, but we're just doing this just to kind of gauge some numbers and see what real life gameplay will actually be like. So this is with the strained gun, I believe. Yes, this is. So I'll reload it, and we're just going to see what kind of numbers we kind of top out at. So this is halfway through strained. It's like at 872k. If we get all the way up to the top of strained, which we did do then, we're at 916k. We'll just keep them numbers rounded up for now. We'll reload this gun and we'll do the same test again. So straight away it's pulsed and we're at 926. And we are deltaed. We'll be right back.
Press space to start.
And we are back. And so we can already see here straight away at 926k running this build, Flatline is just easily it beats out strained, which was super surprising to me that they would add such a powerful gun talent. But great, absolutely brilliant, absolutely beats out strained. Before we start switching some builds around, we will try Optimist on the gun just to try and make this a fair fight. Optimist, his weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% ammo missing from the magazine. So again, this is going to be a gradual build up. So we won't see the highest damage number until the end of the mag. So let's have a look. There we go. And 910k there. We'll do it again just to be sure. 910k. So again, we already know the result here. 926k right off the bat with Flatline. So Optimist is going to be a no-go. So the fight really seems to be Strained versus Flatline. So what we'll do now is this build we've got now, kind of a perfect build. Spotter, we're constantly proccing Flatline, really, really nice. And as you can see here, we're getting 926k. But obviously, there's a few things around that. We've had to use Technician because we need a linked laser pointer. And is that really worth taking all of these, you know, putting Spotter in, doing all these changes to go from what would regularly be, if we switch to my DPS assault rifle build, here we are. As you can see now, it brings into quite a few other kind of little things. So we've got some extra damage because we're using glass cannon. We've got the shield, extra damage, and you know, is it going to be better than this build? So we know 926k is the damage to kind of beat, but automatically now we know we're going to probably beat that because we're using glass cannon. But obviously glass cannon, we all know taking that extra damage can be pretty painful. I'm going to pull the shield out as well, just so we get the idea. This is the kind of perfect damage scenario I would be running right now in the game. And as you can see, yeah, we're over. We've gone to max kind of stats here. We're at 1127. So we are beating it at the moment. So alright, that's fine. So what we'll do then, we'll now switch it in. And that was with Optimist as well. So I'm going to flip that back to Strained. We're going to, again, like I said, we already know that I think Strained beats out Optimist in most scenarios. Or in my opinion anyway, it does. We're going to recal. I'm going to put this back to Strained. And we'll do them numbers again. Just to be certain, we're doing as, you know, as precise of a testing as we possibly can do. Real world scenario, I guess. It's a shame this doesn't remember what we're doing. We have to change it every time, but hey ho. And vulnerable. 5. I'll pull our shield out. Let it go all the way up. We already can see some huge numbers there. Alright, so 1133. So that's really good. Really, really great. Now, obviously we're on firewall, so let's switch to our Flatline gun here. Yeah, we've lost the linked laser pointer now. So what we can do here, we can put some extra critical hit damage in. The 10% one, because obviously now we're using firewall, so that's a little bit of an extra buff there as well. So we'll switch over to this one. And what we're going to have to do to make this a fair fight, we're going to have to drop the survivability of having your revive hive. I'm going to put pulse on now. We're talking about running this with an all yellow build, so we're going to pulse away. And straight away, our biggest number you can see, 1168. So actually, that's really, really nice. 1168. So let's remind ourselves, right off the bat, we're only doing 1028 with this, but we do go all the way up to 1133. But we have to have a firing build up with Strained. With Flatline, we don't. 116. So really, really nice across the board and really, really close. The damage talents between these are really, really, really close. And you just have to keep pulse up. Now, if we're going to have a look at pulse, we will mod the platform. Let's have a look here. And let's just say, you know, I had some perfect mods here, which I've never really been a fan of pulse previously, but we want to put the charge speed up, obviously, because we want it to come back as quickly as possible. And then we kind of not bothered about health, but we'll make it last a little bit longer. But as you can see here, the cooldown is 18 seconds. And, you know, it lasts for 10, but we're going to be out around 8 seconds, give or take the points at the end. We're going to have 8 seconds of downtime where things are not pulsed. Which is a bit of a shame, but we do also have, after 3 kills, applies pulse to the next enemy you hit. So you're going to be constantly proccing pulse, and you're going to be constantly having to, you know, use the skill at the same time for this to compete. Is it close? Yes, very, very close. Do I think, would I use Flatline over? Yes, in a spotter scenario, I would 100% use Flatline over Strained. Would I use Flatline over Strained in a glass cannon scenario? Probably not, because I really want to have the revive hive. You know, glass cannon, you can take some pretty serious damage, as we all know. You're amplified 60% damage in, but it gives some really, basically it gives the spotter build a really good buff and brings it right up there, really close to the glass cannon build. I think probably the spotter build probably just will be the way to go going forward if you want to use all yellows. Obviously, bringing Heartbreaker into the scenario that we're going to get, Flatline is a whole new ball game then, and is probably the best talent to use without a doubt, without even thinking about it. It will outperform Strained at that point. But this is great. This is building, you know, build diversity. We're getting build diversity back into the Division 2. We're getting a lot more with this update. So for me, this is all good. You know, Flatline is very good, but obviously in certain scenarios, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that also brings into account, you got thinking about, well, actually, can I use Flatline on an M1A? You know, the best gun in the game for damage output. What options am I going to have for running Flatline on an M1A? And certainly, again, brings build diversity to the game, and that's, I think, what we all want. So thank you for checking out the video. I hope that was useful, and like I said, it's all a thumbs up here all around, but I wouldn't be using the KINGBREAKER for Flatline. I would definitely be sticking it on a FAMAS, or if you want to play it up close and personal with a, you know, a bit of a health armor regen build, for sure. Sounds like it's going to be awesome. Or just for the regular M1A type AR builds with a glass cannon. Again, options. You could run both, but I would be concerned about not running my revive hive. You've got to start thinking about a few other things with the shield changes. You know, if you want to drop this damage from here because the shield changes are coming. When I've been playing with it, this disrupt from the shield, you know, as long as you play careful enough, it hasn't really been a problem for me. But then you've got to start thinking, if you drop the shield, you're probably going to have to drop vigilance as well and go with a different backpack talent, maybe the memento or something like that. So again, I'm rambling, but it's build diversity at its best. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope that clears up some stuff for people who have not been able to get onto the PTS, what Flatline is going to be like. Don't forget to subscribe or come over to Twitch, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.